if you're going through anything, men are supposed to go through it.
First, I say, fuck the emotions, man. Men are not supposed to fucking show that emotion, man.
What about, what do you think of therapy? Do you think that helps? It's obviously a big discussion, but equality in the gender roles.
A girl who is a 10, she's got a body count of 100.
And we are live. Episode 2 of the Coffee Pump podcast. Today our guest is Magnus MG, who is a men's health advocate and is here to talk to us about bettering ourselves. Murage.
Yo, what's up?
Magnus.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to come.
Thank you.
As they say, Nekemodo.
Niko sawa.
Okay.
Wimwega.
Demwega.
Good.
So Murage,
Stuff.
before we start, it's tradition where we give our guests coffee, and you suggested cappuccino.
Yeah.
Fahadi, cappuccino, please.
Best ever, man.
Thank
Good
you, sir.
stuff. Good stuff.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Murage, how are you doing?
Doing great, man. Yeah.
Is it Murage or Magnus? What should I call you?
Magnus. I think
Magnus.
Magnus is better for me. Murag is more the corporate side. So,
Sal. Magnus.
yes.
How's it going, brother?
Going great. Loving it. Great week.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots happening, even on the men's front, but I
Maybe,
think we'll get to that. Yeah.
maybe you could just give us a bit of a background as to... So I first heard of you through the social media sphere. I saw some interesting posts. But what I could tell is there's a lot of positivity for men's health and men's development. I think you feel very strongly and passionate about that. Perhaps you could just give us a background as to what got you into this, but where you're from, where you started off.
Okay.
Yeah.
My background, okay, but I go by the name Magnus MG. I prefer that I've been building that brand since COVID time.
Yes.
It didn't start out as necessarily my brand. I was trying to build something different.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I was left with a name that I was thinking of for something different. And then, we were stuck in the house, and all of a sudden I just said, you know what, let me change this to become my brand.
Yeah.
And became interesting. I talk from my experience, a lot of it from my experiences and a lot of it from also other men's experiences.
Right.
So I am a men's health advocate. I'm strongly and I'm very passionate about making sure that the men, I won't call them boy child, men or young men are groomed properly to be able to understand the challenges that they have in this day in 2023 and beyond.
Okay.
I think we can all agree there's a lot of challenges for men right now.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe you talk about personal experiences,
Yeah.
right? I'm not sure if you're comfortable typing into that, but
Yeah.
what sort of got you onto this path where you felt that, you know what, maybe I didn't have a role model who I could look up to, that I sort of need to start preaching about men's health advocacy. I need to put it out there. What sort of got you onto that path?
I think more the being in a position where, as a man, you've got to deal and you've got to deal with a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
we as men, we don't talk much about the stuff or the challenges that we do go through.
Yeah.
Until we're in a very safe space, to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So what happened is, I went through a lot of things. I went through a divorce, separation, being separated from my child, just restarting life again from scratch,
Right.
absolutely scratch. You just have an empty room and you're starting all over again. And just rethinking career. It was COVID. It was just before COVID time.
Right.
So there's a lot going on. And I dealt with a lot of that stuff alone, internally. And it got me thinking at some point. Of course, there are a few friends who were there, my brother, a couple of my friends, close ones. But it was very much a lot of that stuff going through that stuff alone. And it got me thinking, if someone else is going through the same stuff, imagine how they're struggling without understanding, if they don't have a support system. I had a support system.
Okay.
For a man who doesn't have a support system, I think that's a very key thing. And I think we saw a lot of that, especially during COVID time, where men who really didn't have support systems, were taking their own lives, which is very
Which is
sad.
unfortunate.
Yeah. And yeah.
And I did hear somewhere that apparently suicide rates, men are probably the highest percentage.
Yes.
So that's definitely a cause. But maybe more on that. We sort of come from a very traditional background in Kenya where if you're going through anything, men are supposed to go through it, right? You're supposed to chin up, fine. Life is tough.
Yep.
And I guess overall men do have a tougher time.
Yeah.
in terms of just existing and in this day and age. So what do you say to that when someone says, you know what, just nut up and shut up, get back to work? And compared to sort of the men that we have that on the opposite side, where people say, no, if you should express your emotions, you should sort of be more feminine about it, if that makes any sense. Sort of how do you approach that?
First, I say, fuck the emotions, man. Men are not supposed to fucking show that emotion, man. There's nothing like feeling or emotion.
Yeah.
That stuff is really very feminine. Yes, everyone has men. Okay, men have feminine, some part of feminine, and women have some part of masculine.
Yeah.
However, I say, just just take stuff as a man, learn to do hard things.
Yeah.
And not going by emotion. Go by logic. Go by things that are, you can reason things out. You can look at statistics or whatever and
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm making a decision based on this. Not really emotion. I'm not saying that you can't use emotion to think and add to that decision, but we're not wired like that, And
You're right.
I think it's very, when I see a lot of people talking about, oh, men should get in touch with their feelings, I'm like, fuck that shit, man. That is not what men are built to do. We're changing our nature to suit women, which is not right, And the same way I wouldn't expect them to start changing to become masculine.
Right.
So they shouldn't expect us to become feminine. I think that is the feminization of society that's happening now. And whenever I hear that stuff, I say, no, fuck this shit, man. Be a man. Hold your ground, just if you have to start from scratch again, start from scratch. Yes, look for a few people you can talk to who can help you up.
Right.
But just man it up and move on. Of course, not alone. I say make sure you
build a
tell
support
men.
system.
Build a good support
build a
system
network. Right.
with men.
Right.
Not with women.
Right.
With men to help you grow.
Right. And so why not with women?
Because they're going to feminize you. And end of story. I really believe some things for men, women cannot understand.
Okay.
In the same way for men, things we can't understand about women. Right. So we shouldn't try and tell your problems to women. That's the worst idea you can ever do.
Right.
Just never do that. Look for a man, talk to him. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm getting from you is life is tough.
Yep.
You're going to be faced with all kinds of challenges for majority of men.
Yep.
Yes, it's unfair, but guess what? It's unfair for most people.
Yep.
So find a support structure.
Yep.
Find people you can sort of confide in, men.
Sure. Completely.
And work through your troubles, work through your emotions. So I guess maybe if we sort of look at now this new TikTok culture, men who, and you've seen it, we've seen these videos where people are dancing, shaking their ass online. Yeah. Whereas if you go back to the 60s, our granddads, imagine if they sort of saw a tube and they were told this is what men would look like in the future. What do you think their reaction would be?
It's terrible, man. I can't imagine my grandfather seeing me shake my ass on TikTok. That's just wrong, man. He'd come back and whip me he'd really whip me,
Yeah. But why are men doing that? Is it so? We've seen statistics saying that, like, if you look at the kids and the youth these days, that suggests that I forget what the article was, but when they're asking different populaces what the kids wanted to do. And if you look at the Asia Pacific children, they were like astronauts, scientists, so on and so forth. And if you look at the westernized economies, children were saying, I want to be a TikTok star, I want to be a social media influencer. Is it the fact that people think it's easy to do it, that they're attracted to that? Or what about it do you think has changed the concept of what a man should be, right? Where traditionally a man would go to work, would provide for his family, raise a family, build a community, and basically work his way into the grave in some instances, if you come to think about it. Whereas right now, it's completely different what people want. So, I mean, what's changed recently? Why are sort of men acting like that?
For sure, the feminist movement has really created a lot of confusion on the male side, pushed a lot of ideologies that are just completely nonsense, that just need to just be completely debunked.
Ideologies such as?
Like we're talking about, men should show their feelings, men should be able to talk about their feelings with women and share the problems. No, man, you don't do that shit. And then something like, for example, I'll give you social media. It's women are more attuned. It's a very feminine thing to kind of go on socials and really show yourself out there.
Show your expression,
right?
show your feelings.
I'm not saying, there's no knowledge you can share.
Yeah.
But right now men are doing it for likes. They're not doing it necessarily to pass information, to teach something, to build a community that is valuable. People are just doing it for likes, and just for the fact
quick
that-
wins.
The quick wins, it's really advertising. And I say that's a very feminine thing. As a man, when you're building something, like you said, build something. Yes, you're building a YouTube channel, you're building a TikTok channel, you're building some good socials. Let it be valuable. Give some great information that people can use going forward, or information that is valuable, over time, to whichever audience you're talking to. It's not fluff.
Right.
That's the point for me. It's not fluff. It's valuable information that any person who watches, for example, a man in another country will watch it and say, okay, that's valuable. Right. It should have that value. That's what men do. Men build things of value.
And I guess in a way, sort of, if you look at the traditional men, their reward system was, it's a long game.
Yeah.
You take years and years and years to build something before you finally get the reward.
Yeah.
And in the technology era, where Instagram, for example, you get those magenta pop-ups that give you that quick dopamine rush.
Yeah.
Everything sort of seems to be geared towards those quick hits of dopamine, from pornography to Instagram, and sort of everything. And most folks, and men particularly, I see, especially the younger generation, it's not a blank statement for all, but that's what they're going towards, right? Yeah. We need that dopamine hit. We need that constant stuff. No one is now willing to work. No one has the patience to do that grind day after day, put it out there, work towards building something. I guess which it sort of leads me into the next question. You advocate a lot for development of men into men. Yeah. So what are the steps we should take? Like, let's say my younger brothers, my cousins, they're coming up there in high school. What should I advise them? What should I talk to them and tell them, well, this is the footprint to follow in order to ensure that you're successful as a man within your obligations in society as a man, rather than having them shake their ass on TikTok. What? Yeah. I hope you're not shaking your ass on TikTok, Fad. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. No. Yeah.
We're gonna whip you if you do.
Yeah.
Number one, okay. This is probably the general statement I make to men. I tell men, learn to do hard things. Whatever it is that you're doing, learn to do hard things.
Right.
Stop getting used to doing simple things. Simple things, do hard things. Experiment. Make a mistake. Do things that are out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Do things that build you in another direction, for the next 5 years. That's what men do. That's a generous statement that I make. If I tell a father, tell him, number one, just look at yourself, look at your strengths, what do you do best as a man, and then start looking at how those things, you can get more information from men to learn about.
Right.
How to be able to build yourself. Remember, men are not born with, women are born with value. Men are not born with value. You have to
what is it they said?
value.
Only dogs and women are loved.
Yes.
Unconditionally.
Yes. So as a man, you've got to build your value. A woman is born with her innate value, with her beauty, with, because she's a woman and what she gives the world. And when she appears, for example, on an Instagram video, she has a value there. For man, you have got to build it. You've got to build something over time. Right. So men should get used to continuously doing hard things. Things that get them out of their comfort zone, things that give them new skills, new abilities, that move their weaknesses to strengths or solidify their strengths more. It's not just for fluff, not just for dopamine. In fact, you said something interesting about dopamine. I remember porn, there are a couple of things that give dopamine, sports, porn, blah, 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 all those things. And what it's done for the current generation of men or young men coming up is, because you have constant hits of dopamine, you never are in a state where you can sit, that your dopamine is low, and just get angry at your life and say, I need to get this done.
I need to get this shit done.
Yeah. Because the dopamine, it calms you. It keeps you in a place of, it actually makes you docile.
As Andrew Tate says, the Matrix wants to entrap you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You're getting this hit from football every weekend or every week. You're getting another hit from, TikTok or whatever. You're getting another hit from, the entire social media. Getting another hit.
So you mean watching football, yeah?
Yeah, watching football. Yeah. And it's just keeping you in that constant dopamine cycle. at some point people become docile. You don't follow your dreams too much. You're putting too much time into those things that are giving you dopamine. You're not looking out for things that say, let me do something valuable that's hard.
Right.
Anything that's hard, that's not giving you dopamine, you don't like it.
Right.
You know, because now your brain chemistry has shifted. And men need to be very careful about that part. Sports, porn, there are many other things that give, drugs, alcohol. All those things they keep men very docile. However, if you remove a lot of those things, what will happen is you'll see a change in a man in a week, for example.
Right.
Cut off sports for like 2 weeks when you're doing a project. I'll give you an example. And if you love that sports, dopamine hit, and you're doing a huge project and just cut it off like for 2-3 weeks and see how much you'll get done instead of, keeping your normal routine of dopamine and then trying to do the project.
Right.
Kind of shift all your energy into the project. You'll be shocked at what you can actually build
achieve,
in a very short time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's all circling back to hard work. It takes hard work.
Yeah.
Quick wins are not really wins, right?
Yeah.
Sort of you have to build up, you have to build the mental calluses.
Yeah.
You sort of have to,
like
I think suffering is part of being a man.
Yes.
Right? What you're saying is that if you have to suffer in order to achieve something that's worth celebrating.
Yeah.
And in society right now, it's very easy to get swayed. You've had a long day. Rather than go to the gym, guess what? There's a football match going on.
Yeah.
So dopamine hit,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to pursue a relationship, well, because you've got porn. That's a quick win for you.
Yeah. OnlyFans, jump in.
OnlyFans,
Yeah.
jump in. Why do I need to build a relationship? Why should I take time and effort into building something? Which I guess is a good segue into relationships, right?
Yeah.
As much as I think we're advocating for men to work hard and focus on building something that they can hold value over, that effort has also reduced in relationships. Like just from personal experience, what I'm seeing right now is people are no longer committed to sustaining something.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it's the Instagramming of the relationships where Instagram is like the best Tinder profile out there.
Yeah.
And in the girls' DMs, there's several guys just simping,
Yeah.
chasing after that. What do you say about that? Like this whole simping movement?
I think that's one thing I talk about constantly to men. And many people they ask me to demystify simping. And it's simple. I mean, simping is where you as a man are not looking out for your own interests. So you put back your needs, you disrespect yourself so that you can please a woman. So probably she can give you, the cookie, most probably give you the cookie. So you degrade yourself, you disrespect yourself, you stop doing the things that you like doing, chasing a woman so that you can, be able to get that. And I always remind men, by the way, you cannot negotiate desire. A woman likes you or she doesn't like you, or she'll start liking or she doesn't like you. You can't start doing some certain things to make her like you already. Right. And that's the part simping, people try too hard for a woman to like, so take her for dates, let me take her for what, let me do this, let me do that, let me when she calls me, I jump up, I go where she is, I'm always hanging out with her. Oh man, that'll just screw up. That'll just screw up, man.
I agree with you. Like sometimes, again, what do you bring to the table? Are you a high value man? What is your worth? Because as much as you see guys simping after this particular gorgeous girl, like everyone's in an inbox, what do you have to offer her, right? Because for her, it's easier to get a mate on the other end. She's pretty, right? And rightfully so. She's got everyone inside her before. Not inside everyone inside her DMs, but technically she's got all these facets of men chasing after her, from billionaires with luxury boats, and you're just here, a jama, on Satos. All you do is sit and play COD and Fortnite, and then you DM Asupuniaje, when am I meeting you? So again, you need to level yourself up. If you're in an instance where you're a multimillionaire, you've got something behind your name, you've built up something, then it sort of sets an even tone. So that's what we're getting at is building yourselves up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And for sure, everything we've talked about, especially dopamine hit and all that.
Yeah.
If you do just build your own value, what you realize is you don't even need to chase after a woman. Honestly, in fact, one thing I tell men: do not chase a woman at all. Don't.
Right.
you should have enough value to the point where she sees and says, hey, I want this guy, man, and whatever he's going to say, I'm in, or I'm in with what he's saying and where he's going.
All right.
When you start chasing a woman, immediately, you also decrease your value. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I think you've seen that. Even some guys who have money, you start chasing her,
Simping.
Oh man, that's a minute you kind of innately show her that you really don't have value. Without the money, without the cars, without the other stuff,
Right.
she can't see you beyond that other stuff. And
I guess if you look at it from a perspective, you should ask yourself, if you look at yourself from a girl's perspective, would you date you?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you the man?
Are you the man?
Actually, if you're a woman, would you date yourself?
Yeah.
And if you truly reflect, I think there's a lot of improvement a lot of folks can do, right?
A lot.
Interesting.
I think in this day and age, especially young men, I'll tell, take your time to build yourself. Learn, read. There's so much stuff on the internet you can, for free, man, that you can just sit and learn how, a new skill every day instead of going to, woman's DM and just spending time in a DM,
So let's take it this way, all right?
Yeah.
So we've got people now. Let's say we get young folks' attention, and we tell them, okay, you want to build up from here. You want to build yourself.
Yeah.
What would you say are the steps for folks to now go and build their characters? Men can build themselves up. What are the right steps? Should they focus on the gym? Should they focus on education? And if they sort of don't have the financial capabilities, what should they do to sort of level themselves up to be financially free? Because we both agree that financial freedom has a lot of perks, including attracting the opposite sex.
Exactly.
So if we take it back to the very basic level, there's a guy who comes to us and comes to you and asks for help. So I've had my heart broken, and I don't want that to happen again. I want to be a millionaire. What steps should I take to ensure that this will never happen again? So if let's say there are 5 things you'd just maybe at the top of your head, 5 things you'd recommend to a guy to put in place, and it doesn't even have to be 5 things, to ensure that they get to the next level. What should those steps be?
Okay. The first one, I'd say, the guys come, I got my heart broken. I tell him, hey, bro, hit the gym, man. You need something to take your mind off and build some discipline. Yeah. Hit the gym, get your dopamine hit from there. As you're getting your dopamine hit, you're building your body. That's important. You're getting strength in your body. At the same time, you're building discipline.
Right.
So that's the first thing probably I would tell someone who comes with that, hey, I got a heartbreak.
Right. Actually,
stop feeling sorry for yourself.
I agree with you. Like, in relationships, right, you could go one or two ways. You could use that anger to build yourself up, or you can drown yourself even more.
Exactly.
Right. So use that anger to build yourself up. And I would say for anyone that's feeling really depressed, if you go to the gym and stick with it consistently and you see yourself build up a body that's genuinely worth attention, and even you're proud of it, it will really change your philosophical perspective and your entire mental clarity on how you view yourself as a person changes. So I like that. So the first thing is hit the gym.
Hit the gym.
Crush those weights.
That's the first thing I tell them. Then number 2, I tell them, start watching your diet. Watch what you eat.
Yeah.
Make sure what you're eating is healthy, because
you are what you eat.
Yeah, you are what you eat. Basically what you put in your body. So it could be someone who drinks a lot or alcohol, I'll tell them, hey, chill out on the alcohol. In fact, just kill it. You'll come back to it. Alcohol is going nowhere, man.
Do you drink yourself?
No, I don't.
Zero.
I don't.
Completely.
I keep away from alcohol.
Right.
I've done it for many years. There's a time I was a teetotaler, complete teetotaler for about 8 years. Nowadays, it's just, it's a social thing, but I'm not a proponent for alcohol at all, especially for people who are struggling with, for example, depression, or someone who's got into a heartbreak, or even for young men. I just tell them, look, alcohol is going nowhere, man. Just build yourself.
You can try drowning your problems in alcohol, but they'll learn to swim.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
Right?
That's a nice one, yeah.
So, diet, because you are what you eat.
Diet.
So if you put in shit, you feel like shit.
You feel like shit, yeah.
If you eat clean, protein, double down on that. Watch your carbs, watch your fats, work out.
Exactly.
Mental clarity, physical strength. I like those.
Yes.
So the first thing is hit the gym. The second thing is watch what you eat.
Watch what you eat,
Right.
what you put in your body.
Right.
So across not just the food, but also alcohol, drugs. Keep away from alcohol. Keep away from drugs.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell someone who's come with that kind of problem. Then I tell him, look for a community of people that you can be accountable with. Men.
Right.
No, it could be a WhatsApp group, because now, everything's digital. So,
Yeah.
or a physical group that you go and, hang out and talk.
Camaraderie with men.
Have that bond. Build yourself with other masculine men that you look at and say, hey, that guy, man, he's got something I like. Oh, there's something about his career I like.
Yeah.
Let me hang out with him. I find out, kind of also learn some things from him. I might not be in the same career line, but he's in corporate and I want to be in corporate, whatever.
Right.
But I can learn a few things from him.
I like that.
How to dress.
Yes.
How to present yourself. How to talk to people. How to network with people.
Right.
That is so important for man. But away now, we're removing anything feminine for now. No female around, How do you talk with other men?
Right.
What do you discuss? Are you just discussing sports, chicks? Or you're discussing money,
by the way, if
business.
all you do is hang around guys that talk about chicks, drinking, getting laid, get rid of those guys.
You're screwed, man.
Get rid of those folks. You need to sort of be with people that are better than you.
Yes.
You can't be with people that are at your level or even below you, in the sense that they have no direction. So I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And if you come to think about it, building a community, your fondest memories are from high school with your boys.
Exactly.
It's not about the high school environment. It's about the bonding between your boys. The shared stories, like even during facets of war, where people were fighting and you've seen horrific things, but you would see men sitting around a campfire and they would joke.
Yeah.
Even in such turbulent times. Yeah. So I do agree with that. Building a community. So you find a network of folks that you want to aspire of men.
Yes.
Of men.
Of men.
That you want to aspire to be like.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, Magnus, you've created such a network by looking at your, and we'll link all your socials here.
Yeah.
So people can follow you on Facebook. People can come. Do you have something like that you're doing to build up? Do you have something?
Yes.
Like meetups and stuff where folks can come and bounce off ideas. Is that something that you're planning on doing?
Personally, I don't have something. I'm actually now with other people building something, because I realize, sometimes it's really, it can take a lot of your time building something alone.
Right.
So sometimes it's easier. You just join with other people, like you're saying, other people who are better than you, or better other skills that you don't have, and just build something.
Right.
So yes, I do have certain different. Actually, I have like 3 or 4 different communities of men.
Right.
From different backgrounds. Some are guys who I grew up with. Some are guys who I went to college with. Some are guys I've met now in this masculinity field. So all of them are communities that I work around with.
Right.
And bounce off ideas. And also throw in ideas there, tell guys, what do you think about this and this and this?
So it's good. You don't have yes men surrounding you. You have guys who will check your bullshit.
Yeah. All right. They'll tell me, hey, look, what you're saying, man, is nonsense. Then I'm like, okay, tell me, what did I say? That was nonsense. Or what you're doing is not working, change. And I do listen, I think that's also something about men. We need to, if you want to build value, you've got to learn to listen to other men. Yes, we have big egos, right? So someone can be talking, you're like, man, I know everything. No, it doesn't work like that. Right. When you're with other men, it's important to listen. Even if you feel someone's opinion might not be what you think, it's good to listen to other men's opinions and how they're doing things and where they failed, where they're struggling, or where they're winning in life.
Learn from each other.
Each other. There's a lot you can learn from men.
You wouldn't recommend men to seek solace with women?
Never. Women should never know your problems. Ever.
Why is that?
Men and women were not naturally just built to always be together.
Okay, wait. So you're saying men should never confide in women?
No, don't.
Never.
Even your mom.
Really?
Yes. Tell your dad. Don't tell your mom.
But see...
If you don't have a dad, there's a dad figure somewhere. I say that lightly, but...
Right, sons and mothers, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something you'll always learn from me. I'm not saying don't take advice from your mom.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's some things, when you pass that threshold, what, 13, 14?
The wisdom from your father would be very different from the wisdom from your mother.
Very different.
Different outlook, different world approach, different worldview.
Very different.
Right.
And your dad would most likely give it to you as it is. He'll never sugarcoat it for you.
Oh yeah, I'll that for sure. Yeah.
And that's the thing about when you're like for your pops in my MZ, he'll just give it to you as it is. If you've messed up, he'll just tell you, hey, he's messed up.
Shout out pops.
Here is what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's very brief, it's very cut, it's blunt. You get to move things, so you don't have time to wallow in your in that little problem, for example, or failure that you had. Whereas a mom, it's good. She'll tell you, you can try again, my son, that's good. However, I would say for a man at a certain point, glean off more from your dad, because he understands some things that you're going to go through when you're his age. So he's better off telling you how to deal with stuff now, so that when you're in his age, you kind of don't make the same mistakes.
Right.
Which is very hard for your mom to tell you, because she's not a man. She'll tell you from a point of a woman. So glean off more from your mom or from your dad.
Right.
Of course, your mom will still teach you stuff, but your dad will give you better direction, in my opinion.
So what do you think of therapy? Do you think that helps? And would you go to a male or a female therapist?
Actually, that's a good question. I went through some really hard time, because breakups and all that, and you're looking for professional help because you don't have particularly specific people you want to dump on, all that stuff. So I chose a male therapist specifically. And I said I wanted a male doctor. Luckily, I didn't get one, but I got a male therapist. The guy who is go to and tell him, this is what's happening in my life. This, and you just listen and then give me his perspective. And a lot of what he still shared to me today, I still use. And one of that is, when you have problems, don't talk to women. Come and talk to men. Because men will tell you how it is. A man will not sugarcoat it. He'll be blunt. He'll tell you how it is. You won't waste time feeling emotions and trying to take you down that tunnel.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, do this. This is this is where you are. This is what you need to do.
So do you think if you confide in a woman, she'll use it against you?
Oh, definitely, man. 100%, 2,000%, man. Even 100,000%. Just know whatever you tell a woman, just know women don't forget.
Magnus, you told me once you love me.
Exactly. So keep your stuff I'm not saying be stoic, even with women. It's better to keep a lot of things to your chest and share it with men. We do share it together. Than tell a woman, because she's not also built to handle what you are going through. You always have to remember that. She's not built for it. She doesn't know how to handle a man. She can listen, but that's the most. It's like I've poured coffee on this table and then...
Right.
Then what? Yeah.
So maybe a segue into this, and it's obviously a big discussion. It's debated quite heavily. But equality in the gender roles at work, at home life, what do you say about that, where when women say we deserve equal pay?
Okay. There are two parts of that discussion. There is equality, which is like general.
Yeah.
And I think that's nonsense, because there's no equality between men and women. There's absolutely none. The genders are very different. You cannot compare apples and oranges. So as a general topic, for me, equality does not exist, cannot exist. It's useless and futile.
Okay.
To kind of push for equality in the sexes as general. It's nonsense. That's a complete feminization of society. And it's a very feminist thing.
Okay.
However, equality for pay, opportunities, opportunities could be career, school, whatever it is, yes. Talent, yes. That one, I give it and say, every person is individual. Move your sex. Every person should be given the same kind of opportunities, as long as they've got the same kind of skills. Right. And the same, whatever, if it's, example, it's a job. You're looking for a CEO.
So it doesn't matter who you are. If you work as hard, you deserve equal pay.
You deserve equal pay.
Right.
It's a CEO lady and a CEO man and a gentleman, and they both have the same credentials. They've got, PhDs, masters, whatever. They've run multi-million-dollar companies. Of course, they deserve the same pay, based on their skill level. But as a man and woman, there's a hierarchy. You cannot say now men and women are equal. It cannot happen. It does. That is the biggest lie that feminism sold to us.
So what you're saying is men have certain roles in society that women cannot replicate.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yes. And to maintain those, we need to accept that men and women are different and they can never be equality. What they can be is equity. We could do things. Yeah, a woman can try and do some things that a man can do,
right? And
vice versa. Some, but just not everything. We can't. A woman can just do everything a man does. If they could, then I would say they should be in the front line in the war. Yeah, you put the women in front there. When you're going to the next invasion somewhere around the world, big war, put the women in front. Yeah, put them in front of the ground men. It won't happen, And so when women ask for that equality, I'm like, You don't know what you're asking for, man. You have no idea. So the men should stay at home and take care of the babies then.
Would you ever work for a woman as your boss?
That's a trick question. I have. I learned a lot of things.
Right.
Some good and some not very good. And I would say, sometimes you don't choose your boss.
Right.
You're going for example, you have a job and CEO happens to be a lady, and you just learn how to deal with it as a man. However, I see a lot of prejudice, especially when I've worked with women, on trying to feminize everything around men, especially if they're the bosses. I've seen a lot of that. It's almost like a
You wouldn't
trend.
say they're like emotionally more caring, emotionally more available. They sort of take it as a family.
50-50. I think even men do that. Some good male bosses do that.
Right.
So it's not exclusive to women.
Yeah.
I just think there's some stuff that some drama is there's just some drama when you have a woman boss. It's not a bad thing, but I have a choice. I would choose not to. But it depends on also who's there. If I learn something about the lady and and I can learn a lot, of course, from her.
Okay.
Good. But I'm very careful with it. I take it with a okay, let's see how this goes now.
So let's look at it this way. Let's say you have a boss who is a female and she has a family, she has kids, she has sons, daughters, and so on and so forth. She's got a whole little community. And then on the flip side, you have a boss who's a lady, no kids. Boss babe, she's in the latter years of her life. Is there a difference between both of them?
Oh, big major difference. I think I've experienced the two. Major difference. I think I'd go any day for a woman who's a family woman. Any day as a boss. Because there's just things that she does which are very different from a lady who's probably single.
And is it because she has a responsibility of other lives on her versus the other one being it's all about me?
I think so. There's also a level of giving and community that she already has within her because she already does it from another perspective. I've worked with a lady who was single and she just thought me. It was all about her. Like it was really hard.
But that's sort of where we are in society right now, where this boss babe culture has come up, where women want to be independent and women want their own financial freedom, which rightfully so. I think they all deserve it. And sort of, if you look at it this way, promiscuity has become a huge thing. I think there was a report recently I saw. In fact, we were discussing about this earlier.
Yep.
So maybe to that, like if you look at the society right now, when you have a woman who's climbing the corporate ladder, who is sleeping around, being very promiscuous, you seem like a very traditional, your mentality is sort of rooted in traditional beliefs.
Yes.
How would you look at that and how would you look at that aspect? And would you say it's better for society or it's worse when you have women doing what they're doing in this day and age?
I think it's really bad.
And again, it's not a blank statement for all women.
Yeah.
But you're aware of the certain sect.
Yes, there's a certain, I think it's that woman who's, I'll use quote unquote, empowered, right? And it's unfortunately gone to a liberal side, which is very, I don't need a man, I can do everything on my own. And, looking down on men and, that's a hard one. I think it's when I see women do that, I really feel for them. In fact, I really feel like, okay, I wouldn't use the word feel. In fact, feel is the wrong word. I really look at them and say, wow.
You sympathize.
I think you're going the wrong direction because in a couple of years, you'll be everything that you've said, you'll be saying, no, I'm now changing my ways. Men and women, we need each other. End of the day. We can't do without each other. We have to learn to live together.
Right.
And this feminizing thing that comes on, we don't need men, we can do things on our own, we're independent on our own. Yeah, it's good. However, just know you pay the price. Choices have consequences. Same for me. I wouldn't say, stay away from women. You don't need women in your life. No, I will never say that. You need women in your life, different facets of your life. Even remove the family, just having also a woman who's, who you can look at and say, this is how your career is going, who you can discuss professional things. Or I've done business also with women, right? So anyone who says I'm a chauvinist, I'm like, man, whatever. I've had partners who are women in business, and I have partners who are men, and I did like the partners who were women. And also, some probably partners who were men, I hated them. I just think the whole women alone movement, we can do this thing on our own
without the need of men,
it's complete, utter cockbull, man. That's the biggest lie that women have been sold to right now. Unfortunately, the young women who have been drawn into it, they'll waste their 20s. Then they get into their 30s and they're like, oh, wait a minute. I need a man somewhere. Change, to help me, or whatever, to go to the garage for me, to just, be, if I go somewhere it's not safe, I need a man to be around me. I need men to do certain things for me. That's when it hits them. Wait a minute, I was sold to a lie. And many women now, and actually the ones who are in their 20s and in their 30s now, they're regretting and they're like, okay,
I should have settled down.
10 years, man, is gone and you're not going to get that life back. And remember, women are born with their value and their value diminishes over time. Men have to build their value and the value increases over time.
Interesting. Yeah. So maybe to that, and again, I can ask you on this expression. When a woman sleeps with a lot of men, she's called a slut.
Yep.
Right. And when a man sleeps with a lot of women, he's called a slut maker. Sorry. He's referred to as the guy.
Yeah.
It's a pride amongst men,
whereas
it's a shameful thing amongst women. And what's the first thing when you're with a girl and she doesn't like another girl? What's the first thing she says? Oh, she's a slut.
Yeah,
it's an abuse, right?
Yeah.
But yet the promiscuity aspect is so high. It's people saying that we're allowed to sleep with as many men as we want. What do you say to that element? I mean, do you feel, as you said, you think it's something that, how should I put this, is better for society when you have women with countless, how do I say, body count?
Body count.
Right. Would you ever settle down with such a woman?
Never. That's the first.
Why not?
I mean, women are, I come from a very more traditional place, society. And even with the new norms and everything, I still maintain some certain principles from my old school, traditional way. Feminine women, don't just go around giving themselves to men.
Right.
They don't. They make it hard because they know every time they give themselves to a man, some value is taken away. That's the truth. Some value is taken away from them. So feminine women or traditional women do not go giving themselves around to men. In fact, they have less number of male partners, or very few, if or none. And this thing of, I come back to feminism. This feminism, liberalism, whatever nonsense, made women go out, my body, my choice, go and do whatever you want, sleep with as many men and try and, compete with men. It doesn't work. Right. We are not equal, the more woman sleeps with men, the less her value. That's the honest, straight up. It doesn't, and anybody who, any woman or anybody who wants to dispute that can just look at the women who do it.
Right.
And look at them 10 years from now. Totally different. There's something just takes away from them.
I agree with that because if you were to ask any of us, any guy in this room, if there's a girl with a body count of 100 folks and there's a girl with 2, who would you end up dating?
In fact, a better question is, a girl who is a 10 or a 9, let's say a 9, and she's got a body count of 100. And a girl who's a 5, and she's got a body count of 3.
Relationship wise, I'd go for the 5. Marriage wise, I'd go for the 5.
Yep.
Just for the fuck of it, I'd go for the 10.
For the fun of it. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I tell women, you will pay for those choices. If you decide to, in fact, the minute a woman goes out and gives herself continuously to men, she becomes low value and she cannot get back to being a high value woman. It doesn't matter how much money she has. It doesn't matter if she still has a beauty. The minute she just increases that body count to, try and compete with men, value goes low. There's no way in it's. I mean, a used car. Okay, used car. I'll give you an example. And you can shoot me for it. Used car. It's a Porsche, but it's done 200,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Over a Demio that's got, it's a Demio, but it's done 5K kilometers.
Demio. Yeah.
I'm using that as an analogy. Like,
Yeah.
it's very wrong to see women kind of push that whole agenda of, I can sleep with as many men. I'll tell you for sure, it doesn't work. Any woman who does it will regret it. Even if she says she's enjoying it, one day she'll regret it. In fact, bookmark this place. You will regret it one day because you are low value. You'll realize you're low value when you go to other places where you'll find another 9, like you're a beautiful woman, who's, she's been a virgin since she got married. And there's no way you'll be at the same level as a girl. Absolutely no way. Right. Even if you're both beautiful, you're both runway models, whatever. Yeah. So it is a big lie that is being sold to young girls. I'd say best thing as a woman, just keep yourself. Don't go around sleeping with men, just for the fun of it.
Right.
It works against women. For us, it builds our ego. We love a chase. We love a conquer. But for women, what does that? There's no conquering. You were conquered, You were chased, you were conquered, you were taken. So.
And then that dynamic shifts, right? Once you sort of give yourself over to a man, then the power dynamic shifts, right?
Completely. Yeah.
But I know we segued off because we were talking about the 5 things men should do.
Yeah.
But maybe before we get back to that, do you think it's the westernization of our society that has sort of led to women being such ways? And again, not a blanket statement for all women, but seeing more and more women be promiscuous.
Yeah.
Because we in Kenya, for the most part, if you go outside of Nairobi, as much as we do claim traditional, right? There are still partners out there who experiment beyond the confinement of marriages.
Yeah.
I mean, even in African culture, we know a lot of colleagues. We know, maybe not. We know a lot of guys that do step out of the bounds of marriage, right? So don't you think it's double standard that if men can do it, the opposite should ask why can't women do it?
But we're not equal. We have different bodies. We have different emotions. We're built differently in terms of how brain chemistry is different. So a man going around sleeping with women and conquering, I don't advocate it because, there's a lot of STDs and STIs, whatever. However, a man doing it and a woman doing it, it's very, very different. You can never compare.
Right. Since the dawn of time, I guess, if you look at men, for example, men were to spread the seed, to create generations.
Yes.
They had multiple wives.
Yes.
However, female promiscuity was always frowned upon.
Yes.
As far back as the religious books go, it was always looked down upon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think society, just to add on to that, I think what a lot of the perpetuation has been done also by media, and I'd say Hollywood specifically, probably because it reaches the entire globe through movies, through drama, all the things that they produce. So Hollywood has created a lot of that, just trying to show, women can do what men can do. And the truth is, on the ground, things are different.
Yeah.
When one woman does it, all of a sudden, her life starts tanking at some point.
Yeah.
The westernization, that being told into our culture, we accepting. I mean, we're one big global village, so you can't avoid watching Hollywood movies or things from outside.
We've been to Nyandarua, some places where guys have 20 kids with 3 wives, right?
Yeah. I think the whole thing of women just wanting to be like men, no, just be a woman. That's what we like. That's what we are attracted to. We're not attracted to a woman who wants to be a man. In fact, that really throws us off.
Yeah.
We want a woman who's a feminine woman, and she does things that even if she's got a PhD, she's a professor, whatever, we still want a feminine woman. Right. Even if she's attained how much, she's got billions in the bank, we still want that femininity in her. That's what attracts us, not what she has, So.
Would you ever date a woman who earns more than you?
I've done it. It's not the best thing to do. You've got to be, as a man, you've got to bring a lot more into that relationship, not from the money side, but you've got to bring a lot of leadership, a lot of consistency in terms of what you're doing. You've got to really up your game in many, many, many areas. If a woman earns more than, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'll tell you, my mom told us this is probably like 2015, during the career with my dad, because they're very close to my dad. Of course, my dad used to earn more at some point, and then at some point, my mom started earning more.
Yeah.
And she told us, but you guys never knew, because I never showed your dad, that he's earning less. And your dad was still doing what he needs to do. He's still providing, he's still taking care of the family, he's still planning for the future and executing. So it never bothered him because he just kept doing what he was doing from a masculine place. A man today, if that happens, for example, if you have a girl who earns more than you, your wife earns more than you, I'd say put a strategy together. Do not be a bum. In fact, that is probably going to be your biggest issue at some point. So work hard. I'm not saying to necessarily earn more than her. Okay, yes, it's good. Work hard to try and earn more than her. However, if you can't, build other skills that she looks at you very differently.
Right.
Even when she has all that money.
Yeah. You think she'll flaunt it over you in this day and age?
This day and age, yeah. Our parents are different.
With the boss babe movement. Obviously, parents-wise, it's different.
Yeah.
But like if we look at 2023 and a girl earns more than you, do you think she'll flaunt it over you?
Oh, most def, man. She'll tell you. In fact, the minute she takes you out for dinner, all her friends will know she fed you. It's like she'll text them and I took Sajid for dinner. I took Magnus for dinner. Man, I'm like, oh, that woman is feeding you. It's just, if you can avoid it as a man, just
right.
Or if you can build yourself up beyond that. In fact, I'd say it shouldn't scare you. In fact, it should never scare you that a woman earns more than you. It should never.
Right.
Because your innate ability is in you. It's not what's in your bank account. Of course, your bank account works for doing the other things that you want. It gets things done. It buys things. It takes nice holidays, whatever, and it can get you stuff. However, it's really about your confidence. Even if you earn more money than her and you have zero confidence, she'll still run over you. You know that, right? Even with all the cash that you have. So build. That's why we come back even to the 5 things. So gym.
Yeah, segueing back to that, exactly. We were talking about how men should level themselves up.
Level yourself up.
Yeah.
Gym. Hit the gym.
Hit the gym is the first one.
Get yourself in shape. If you're out of shape, get yourself back in shape. Get your body back into the masculine, strong man that you are.
Right.
Eat well and right. I think those two go
That's
together.
That's number 2. Eat well.
Eat well. Make sure that what you put into your body.
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat.
Yeah. Number 3, build a community.
Build a community, or be in a community of men that you get a lot of valuable insights on how to be and what to do, and understanding female nature, because that's an entire thing that most men don't, you go into the dating scene without understanding there's something called female nature.
Yeah.
You have to understand women are hypergamous by nature. They will always jump to the next best man, or they'll always be looking at the next best man, even when they're with you. It's just something. It's the same way when we get a woman and we're looking at the other woman, so it's in our nature, right? So it's best to understand so it doesn't hit you at some point.
So what would you say then is the 4th one, if there is any?
4th one, of course, go back to career. I think look at build
yourself
skills.
financially.
Build yourself. Actually, financially should be even last. Build your skill set and continuously build your skill set.
Okay.
What you learned, the world is changing so fast now. What you learned 5 years ago, is probably obsolete now, or is nearly obsolete.
True.
So you need to keep going back and learn. It's either a new skill or just re-cement the skill that you have, learn more from it. For example, for your career, you still need to level up on what you need to keep doing and learning, tools you need to learn, people you need to meet, going up in levels in terms of responsibility to learn what's done at this level so I can get there.
Right.
What do I need to do? So building your skill set. So it could be skills. It could be especially something that you do with the hands, I would say.
Yeah, and I guess if you have a community of men that are better than you, you are forced to sort of level up yourself.
Exactly.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So we've got this. The first thing men should do, build yourself up physically. Reach peak physical capabilities of your own person,
yes,
of your own self, before you sort of attempt to criticize yourself, right? So step 1, build yourself up physically.
Yeah.
Step 2, we said was
You literally just resetting your body so that your
nutrition.
clarity, your nutrition. Yeah.
Step 2, work on your nutrition.
Yeah.
You are what you eat.
You know what you eat.
Yeah. So focus on cleaning that up.
Community.
It ties in with step 1.
Yes.
Step 3 is finding a community.
Yes. Well, you can
community
bounce
of
off
men.
ideas. You can bounce off your experiences together.
Right.
So you feel like you don't feel like you're the only person going through,
Right.
financial, rut.
Right.
The other people who are going through worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also learning the good side of it. The other people who are doing something and it's working for them. Yes. Then going back again, learning and relearn.
Step 4.
Learning and unlearning also.
Right.
So
step 4 is building your skill set.
building your skill set.
Right.
So it
Level
could be-
yourself up as a man, improve on facets that you're not aware. And I think we'll both agree.
Yeah.
It's very different than it was 10 years ago. Everything you need, all the resources you can find, you'll find online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then would you say then step 5 is financial freedom?
Financial freedom. Because when you build that way, then you're building for long term.
Right.
Don't start with thinking about how can I build money now. First, take care of your body, commune with other men so that you can build your ideas, and then work on your skill set, diversify or learn new skills, or keep relearning and retesting and doing what things that you need to do.
Okay.
And then level 5 now. Okay, how can I make money? Or with all this, what do I need to do to make money? There's nothing great like a man knowing that he can walk out there and earn his dollar
Correct.
without any other man teaching him how to do it, or other men have told him how to do it. Now he's doing it on his own. He's standing on his own, can go out there, sell something, earn an extra dollar. I think that's one of the biggest things any man needs to do. You need to learn how to. I can go out and I can make money. Yeah, whatever I'm doing, whatever idea it is that you're building, whatever you're selling, whatever you're putting together, I can go out and make money, and not just from a paycheck. I can, with my little skill set, I'm learning. For example, I'll give you an example. Someone who's learning carpentry, and say, yes, I'm doing this as a hobby today. I built a skill set. Now I've got to a place I'm really confident about it. How about if I start making some little furniture on the side and make some money from it? And then now turn that into a business.
Use your skill set to generate financial.
Yes. So there's actually the flow of it. Money, of course, should be the end game to. Okay, I wouldn't say end game, but it should be the way that you look at things. Everything you're learning is helping you to be able to become better at making money.
Okay.
Of course, being a better man, but also making money, because you can't know these things. You're learning all these things, and then you need to make some money.
Right.
Even if it's a hobby.
Oh, those sort of good starting points for men to sort of focus on.
Yeah.
I guess Murage. So Magnus
MG, man.
Magnus MG. So what do you see yourself now? Like, what are the next 5 years for you? Like, what do you plan on doing? I know we've not spoken about your day job.
Yeah.
But sort of outside of that, and maybe you can give us an insight as to what you do as your day job.
Yeah.
What are your plans now because you've started a movement. I've noticed people are following you, but what are your plans for the next 5 years?
Okay. Let me start with my plans for the next 5 years, then I talk about let me talk about what I do first. So as my day job. I'm a marketer by profession, but I have a background of working in advertising.
I can see the way you marketing yourself makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my path, and I intend to stay there. In fact, I want to stay there and build. Working for corporate, I think of myself more as an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. I've done entrepreneurship. Yeah. Entrepreneur. So
what's the difference between entrepreneur and entrepreneur?
So entrepreneur is me going, starting my own thing and building money from it, building a business from it. Could be service, could be, product, whatever it is. Entrepreneur is now working my way and building my skill set to go up the ladder.
In the corporate ladder. Okay.
In the corporate ladder.
Understood.
So I look at it from a business, also as a business, you increase your skill set, you go up the ladder. You increase your skill set, you earn more money, you keep going up. So I like being an entrepreneur. I've also been an entrepreneur before. Failed businesses, but that's still in the background. I probably put more focus on being an entrepreneur than being an entrepreneur.
Right. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but we're back on. We were asking, so what's the next 5 years for you like?
next 5 years, I really do want to be able to build this community that I have for men, starting with young men who've moved from, teenage. Any
Right.
man who's moving from a boy to a man, so that teenage year.
Yeah.
Pass and impart some knowledge. So I'm creating some programs for that particular age set. A boy who's from a boy becoming a man, so 13 onwards. And then for the man who is the younger man who's in their 20s, so probably straight out of college, and they're looking for something to do that is worth, of course, giving them some income, building their skill set. So that's my next year, 5-year plan.
Yeah.
People to build enough programs for them. So I'm working on some books specifically for that. I'm working on an event this December, of course, with the help of other people.
Yeah.
Or a team of people.
So to get like-minded men together and sort of have like a masterclass.
A masterclass that teaches the same thing we're talking about. How to take care of your body, how to take care of your nutrition, and then how to take care of your finances.
Yes.
Three major things, just three places. So even for the young guys, your 13-year-old, 14-year-old, all the changes happening in their body, what is happening? And then how do you be able to now move? Now you're no longer a boy, you're a man, you're starting talking to girls. How do you deal with that? And then also teaching them, what are the skills that you can use to earn a little bit of money or learn how to make a little bit of money. And then now, of course, take that to the next level when, they're past college. So 2 programs. I'm actually working on a digital book.
Interesting.
It's taken a bit of time. I think I've not had much to do this year, so I'm really behind on my plan. But it's part of my 5-year plan. So events.
That'll be interesting. It's again men's health, men's advocating for bettering.
Yes. And I love what you're doing with Coffee Pump because I know it's centered for I think there's an audience, but the audience now for men. It's
more masculine. Works. I'll be honest with you. Like even if we look at the audience right now, I think it's 98% men.
Exactly. So what you're doing, just being able to impart knowledge.
I think the 2% is my mom and sister.
Well, and admirers, man. The admirers also.
So in the sense that Murage, what you're trying to strive for is you're trying to build a community of men, stronger men, to better not only their families, but sort of the future of the societies they live in.
Yeah. Stronger men will create stronger societies.
Okay.
Weak men create weak societies.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So when we start them young, 13, 14 and above, and then focus on that age set between 13, 14, about 18, and then all the way to about 25, 26, just right out of campus or college. That's a very formidable age for men. And a lot of the principles we impart there, we'll notice them in the next generation.
Right.
If you notice, there's no male empowerment program.
Right. In Kenya, I don't seem to think there is, no.
Even the West, I don't know. I'm sure they're there, but they're so...
Andrew Tate in the War Room.
Yes, that's one of the few.
Hustlers University.
Yeah, and we saw how that's been going. But, I mean, that's a good step that he's done. It's really helped men. And I'd say young boys and men just be able to discover a lot of things and important information about themselves, build their skill set, learn female nature, understand how to be able to make money. Because in society as a man, if you don't make money, you're useless. Yeah. How will you pay your rent? How will you pay school fees? Or how will you be able to walk from one place to another? So it's very, very key. However, women can get away with it. She can become a housewife. Even after she's got her, she's become a professor, blah, blah, blah. Then she decides, I can become a housewife. And she'll get away with it.
And men don't have that backup.
You do not have that backup. If you go today you go and get 2 masters, 3 masters, and then you go back and sit in the house, let me tell you, you'll get flack, man. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. They always sort of look at it and look down on you.
Yeah.
Morgan, this has been really insightful. Where can people get in touch with you? Where can people find you?
Okay, good. My handles are Magnus MG. Just search me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm not very busy on Twitter, but I'm building that.
We'll link it in the description.
Yes. So Facebook, Twitter, and I'm now just putting together something on TikTok. So it'll be the same, Magnus MG.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll link all your descriptions. We'll link all your contact informations and socials in the description. But thank you so much, sir. It's been fantastic. It's been a good conversation.
It's been nice, man.
It's been
And I love what
Quite
you're doing.
entertaining.
I love what you're doing here, man. It's really
appreciate
building, and I think you're also very key to be able to helping the manosphere
Yeah,
just
you know.
build. Everyone does their part. Like what you're saying, what you're doing is hard. It is
It's
hard.
not
I
easy
know.
putting yourself out there. But
I know.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is encouraging people also. I'm encouraged. I'm encouraging other people to sit and say, okay, I can really build my life from something. So kudos, man. Well done.
I appreciate that, bro. Hopefully, we can have you back for one of our future episodes.
Anytime, man.
And we can talk more about the topics we discussed.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it, brother. Cheers.
Cheers, man. And no simping. No simping.
No simping. Fahad.
Oh shit. Fuck this, get money.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.